Wait, talk first, sir.
Is it on or can you hear me?
Alright, yeah, it's working, so.
Okay. YouTube is just not its day today, but
Yeah. Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back. It's that time of the week. It's time for some more LSR Group 2, and it is Season 2 today. It's Round 6, and we arrive at Bahrain. And today, alongside me in the commentary box, we have James. How are you doing today?
hello. I'm really happy. Happy day for me. So, but excited for the racing. So,
Yeah, and I am too. It's definitely gonna be an exciting one. Obviously, sorry for the delay of the stream actually going up. We currently have 7.5 minutes left in qualifying, so quite a bit of time has gone by. Currently, Not Sir Vapor sitting on provisional pole with his teammate Tano, which you might know as Yuki. I think he's changed his PSN, but that is still Yuki in the Mercedes who's changed his PSN to Tano. And if we look at the Drivers' Championship before coming into this round, Yuki obviously leading the championship. He has 100 points over Mango's 60 points, and Sir Vapor and Danny Stillers in the background with 47 and 44. But as you can see there, Mango just retiring from the session. And like we mentioned last week, it's because he had a quali ban that he didn't serve. He's been given some penalty points because of that, and now obviously has to serve at this race. So Mango, who's trying to fight for that championship, is going to be starting at the very back of the grid, whereas his rival Yuki, who's now Tano, is right up there as Pro Striker, sets a 27.4 on the medium compound of tyre. I'm sure you'll be very, very happy coming into that lap. But obviously, James, it's your first time commentating with us here in LSR, and Group 2 is always definitely a very close competition between a lot of the drivers. And what are you expecting coming into this race weekend?
well, I did Group 1 last week at USA, and that was very entertaining. Like battles all around. That was very fun. So I'm hoping for a similar race, but we all know what Bahrain's like. So
Yeah, that's definitely right. And sorry for my mistake. This is your second time commentating in LSR, and I definitely think it's going to be an exciting round as we reach the halfway point in the season, with Yuki obviously having that 40-point lead over Mango, and some new times currently being set with Not Sir Vapors at 27.1, holding up pretty well. And it looks like he's actually improving on that time. Could he dip into the 26s? And it looks like he's going to hit a 126.7. And it looks like Not Sir Vapor has got some great pace around the circuit. Obviously, a lot of other drivers trying to beat that time. Alexis Beast, who we haven't seen for a while, if I'm not mistaken, putting in a 27.2. Pro Striker on the mediums, I'm sure he'll be very happy with a 27.4. Danny Stillers with a 27.5. And Yuki, the last man in the 27s, with a 27.6. And obviously P6 downwards are all in the 28. So so far it looks like a pretty good session for Not Sir Vapor, you'd have to say, but still plenty of drivers who haven't set a lap yet. And it looks like Electric Envy currently in the Ferrari and also currently on a lap as he sets a purple sector 1, 5/10 up on his 28.1. And let's ride through this entire lap to get a quick feel for the circuit. And now coming into this very tricky left-hander, which is then going to bring us onto this long DRS straight in the middle sector. And Let's see how he takes these next few turns, and can he go for provisional pole position. He obviously set that purple first sector pretty decent through that left-hander, and now this very sketchy right-hander. You do not want to touch the curb going into there, as Electric Envy sets another purple sector, 1.1 seconds up on his time. He's looking pretty decent so far, and all he needs to do is get this final corner just right, and let's see if he can do just that. It looks like he misses the apex, but still gets a pretty decent exit. Now up to the DRS line and across the finish line. It's going to be a 1:26.6, so Electric Envy stealing away provisional pole position from Not Sir Vapor. I'm sure you'll be very happy with that, and what do you think of that lap?
Well, I didn't see the first part of it, but the second part was very nice, because I was watching Bacon Haddock, who had a purple sector too, so but that was very quick, and I'm going to say I want to say that Viper is going to want to come back and try and take that again.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously only having about 3 minutes left in the session, drivers are either going to have to come back to the pit lane to put on some new tyres or get out of the pit lane and set their final laps of the session. It looks like Alexis Beast, who's currently P3 in this qualifying session, is on a lap. It looks like he set a purple sector too, but he's gone wide on that right-hander, and that's caused him to invalidate his lap time. Pro Striker, who qualified P4 on the mediums, is deciding to go for another lap, and this time on the soft compound of tyres, so we'll definitely expect to see him go a lot faster. But it looks like Formula Jonah has just asked in the chat, who do I think is going to be on pole position? Well, right now this session really isn't telling us much, as Electric Envy sets another purple lap in a row. That's a 26.4. But I think we're going to ride on board for this entire lap with Pro Striker, who had some great pace on the mediums, and I think he's going to have even better pace on the softs. Now coming out of the very tricky first 3 turns, and now into turn 4. Let's see this entire lap, as we didn't get to see the entire of Electric Envy's other lap. But now coming into these mini S section, I guess you could call it, which then brings us into this hairpin, which he's able to hit the apex very nicely, getting up on the exit curb to use the maximum width of the track now into this left-hander. Let's see how he takes this, and is able to hit that apex and use the exit curb. So it's looking like a decent lap so far from Pro Striker. Let's see what his split is going to be coming out of the middle sector, as we first have to come through this very long left-hander, which then obviously brings us into this very long right-hander, not touching the curb but getting as close as he dares. 6/10 up on his time, and it looks like he is currently 1 second off Electric Envy. Electric Envy putting in an absolutely amazing time on worn softs at 26.4, and so far dominating this session. But Not So Vapor has also started his lap. Pro Striker is about to finish his across the line, and it looks like it's going to be a 26.5. That's very close to Electric Envy's 26.4, but Not Sir Vapor is currently on a lap. James, would you like to take us through it?
I was about to watch Tano, because he's doing a lap time on the softs, didn't go purple. Where's not? There we go. Found Vapor now into the turn 8. So I got a blocked nose a bit. And
yeah, obviously continuing with Not So Vapor's lap, now onto the DRS straight, and it looks like he's right behind his teammate Tano as well. So these two drivers are going to be setting their times at the same time, and maybe if Not So Vapor can go a little faster, he can possibly get some slipstream on this next straight, but I think they've spaced themselves out enough so that they don't give each other the dirty air. But right now Electric Envy on pole position with a 26.4. Tano is about to cross the line as he comes out of the final turn. Zayek out of nowhere, so it's 26.4.
Okay.
And that is provisional pole,
Oh,
but Tano is able to beat it with a
20.
26.1, and his teammate slotting into P4 with a 26.5. Derry able to manage a 27.1 in the background there. Looks like Pro Striker about to come across the line, but it does not look like he is on a lap. So Tano, that was a great lap from him. What do you think
Wow.
of that?
That's wow. No words.
Absolutely
No words.
speechless.
Just Zayek as well, coming out of nowhere for P2 as well. I think he might be a good shout for maybe the victory, but Tano on pole.
Yeah.
What a lap.
And a very close qualifying in session indeed. Obviously, the top five all separated by just 4 tenths. And Zayak just came into the chat there and said that he had a terrible first sector. So he's thinking that he could have gone even faster and possibly gotten that pole position. But Tano has gotten the better of him and is going to be starting on pole with his championship rival SSL Mango starting all the way from the back of the grid. So this is definitely going to be an interesting race dynamic. Zayek on the front row with Electric MB and Not Sir Vapor on the second row, Pro Striker and Derry on the third row, Alexis Beast, Danny Stiller on the fourth row, and we'll be able to see the rest of the drivers once they get their cars on the grid and ready for this formation lap. So coming out of that qualifying session, who do you predict to possibly be up there in the race?
I'm hoping Mango gets up there as I've just been put in a car randomly.
Oh, well, that's annoying.
Um,
Oh, we love the old F1 games, always giving us some
we
fun
love
time.
F1, but as you would see my name in the list in a minute, okay.
Yeah, I think you just have to, once the race gets underway, just pull over to the side and retire the car. Hopefully that'll just fix it all and you can go back to spectator mode.
Yeah,
But
that's very weird.
yeah, this game not being too nice to us today, but hopefully we'll get past all that. As you can see, James is now on the grid in his McLaren. He's going to be going for the race win tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yes, lads. Like, you gotta
Anywho,
love it.
yeah, good old F1 games. So, as we have a quick rundown of the grid, as we didn't have enough time coming out of the qualifying session, Tano on pole position for Mercedes with Zayek right behind him. He's been able to put in some great qualifying performances recently and just hasn't really been able to do much with it in the race, but hopefully that changes today and maybe he can get that Haas car onto the podium. Electric MB starts P3 and a good qualifying session from him. Not Sir Vapor starting P4 and on the second row of the grid. Pro Striker, who set a very good time on mediums but decided to go onto the softs at the end of the session, maybe thinking that the soft medium strategy will be better than the medium soft, as obviously if there is ever an early safety car, that's going to benefit a lot of the soft tire runners. Derry will be starting right behind him in P6, and that's a good qualifying performance from Derry there. I'm sure he'll be happy with that one. Alexis Beast qualifying P7 after he was on the provisional front row for a while, but obviously with the track evolution and most drivers improving on their lap times, he's fallen down to the fourth row of the grid with Danny Stillers in the AlphaTauri. Ace Senna not having the best of qualifying performances, and it's not looking like a good day so far from Red Bull, as definitely not the ideal qualifying session for either of them. And they're going to be trying to battle it out for the constructors, so they're going to need a good race here in Bahrain if they want to go for that. Vacant is going to be starting right behind Senna in P10. Worried Cloud in P11 with Luke Tourette, his teammate, on the same row of the grid as him. We have Husky in P13, Fabregas in P14, Mango in P15, and obviously James is joining us tonight. And
As we have just had a spin as well.
oh yeah, it looks like
The
a
Red
spin
Bull.
there.
Ouch.
That's
That's
Senna doing some interesting tire heating tactics, some may say.
yeah. I mean, it's not the tactic I would go for, but everyone has their different tactics.
And it looks like he is going to be lining up on the grid now. It looks like actually everyone outside of the top 10 is starting on the medium, so Mango on the alternate strategy might be one to watch in this race. But all the drivers are now on the grid, and we're getting ready for the race start. And if we have 5 red lights, they're gone and we're away. What kind of start is it for our pole man Tano up against Zayak? It looks like a decent one for Electric Envy, trying to get past Zayak. Zayak not having the best of starts. Notzer Vapor trying to go down the inside of Electric Envy into turn 1, and it looks like he might be able to make that move. Contact between the two, but Notzer Vapor is going to be able to get the best of Electric Envy and move himself up into P2. Zayak not having the best of starts, falling down into P4. It looks like the Ferrari trying to battle away with Notzer Vapor in the background, and it looks like Vacant has had a great start, moving himself all the way from P10 to P7. Asena moving up one position as well. Luke to Red on the mediums, able to get himself inside the top 10. Looks like a spin for one of the Red Bulls. That's Asena coming through turn 7. He's made a mistake. That's cost him a lot of time. He's now at the back of the grid, right behind Fabregas. And his teammate SL Mango moving up into P10, trying to make some moves into this left-hander. He's right behind Derry. Luke to Red and Bacon Haddock going at it right in front of these two drivers, and it looks like Bacon is going to have the inside line for this next left-hander. Can Luke to Red hold it around the outside? Looks like Bacon giving him the big squeeze, and with the grip of those soft tires, he's able to get past Luke to Red and move himself up all the way from P10 to P7 in just one lap. I'm sure he'll be very happy with that start. Danny Stillers maintaining P6, if I'm not mistaken. As we can see, all the position changes, actually moves himself up from P8 to P6. And Mango is obviously one of the big ones, moving himself all the way from P15, the back of the grid, to now P9, and looking for a move on Derry into turn 1. This could be the move for P8, and can he get this move done down into turn 1? And looks like a bit of a lock-up there. Derry trying to hold it around the outside, has the inside line for the next turn, and it looks like he has the superior traction on those soft compounded tires. Mango isn't going to go down without a fight, has the inside line for this next turn down into turn 4, and Derry is not going to be able to hold this one around the outside. Tries to go for the switchback move, has the better exit, but he's not going to be looking for a move into turn 6, and he actually makes contact with the back of Mango. That's caused him to spin, and he's reset to track, which is going to give him a post-race penalty. So, yeah, that's a shame to see from Derry.
As also, whilst that's happened, Fabregas has also had a spin in turn 3, so that's really hurt him. But Mango up 7 positions already.
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for a better start.
Definitely can't, but he's looking for another move already. Mango all the way from the back of the grid, had a little look down the inside in the third sector, but that move's never really going to work out. Using a bit of his ERS now to think about a move into this final turn. It looks like he might go for the late lunge on the medium compounded tires. Vacant is going to try and hold this around the outside, but goes off of the track, and that gives Mango P7 in this Grand Prix, and it's looking like an amazing start for Mango all the way from the back to P7. I'm sure he's going to be happy with that start. Zayak falling all the way down to P5, a man who's not going to be too happy with his race start, and Pro Striker's been able to get past him.
As Alexis Beast and Husky are battling as well, as Alexis just managed to get ahead, and he's still got that DRS just to be ahead for the next corner. Contact is happening, and Husky spun it. He's hit the wall. I don't think there's any wing damage, so he'll be happy about that, but not about the spin.
Yeah, definitely not. Trying to fight it down the inside, and obviously you have to adjust your traction zone for that. And it looks like Worried Cloud has also had a spin at turn 8. A lot of drivers really struggling with the traction.
It's very punishing track, some of the curbs, so just got to watch out for them, especially turn 12.
Yeah, definitely a lot of tricky turns around this track, and Husky and Worried Cloud spinning on lap 3, and that's definitely not going to help them out in this race. But as we move back to the battle of the top 5, as it looks like the top 5 have actually managed to pull away from the rest of the grid, with Danny Stillers being in a bit of a no man's land. Zayek now posting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Could he be looking for a move on IRS Pro Striker into turn 1? It does not look like he can. And it looks like Zayek's got some great pace at the back of this little DRS train, but it's obviously going to be quite difficult to make any moves. It looks like Derry now passing Worried Cloud on the DRS straight, moves himself up into P12 as Husky comes into pit lane. It looks like he must have got wing damage from that spin down at turn 4. And now it looks like Ace Senna getting overtaken by Alexis Speed. These two having a great scrap so far. It looks like Ace Senna trying to fight back, but you really do not want to be looking for a move down into turn 6. But turn 8 is a bit of a better opportunity, but he's not going to go for that optimistic dive. Can he get a better exit out of turn 8? And it does not look like he's going to be going for a move into this turn 9 and now 10. But it looks like Not So Vapor is getting very close to the back of Tano, and Not So Vapor has had some pretty good pace so far in the qualifying and now the race, managing to hold P2 and now getting quite close to the back of his teammate. Could be looking for a move at any point now, and he's just going to be waiting for that. And as you can see,
if he can get
tried to fool him down the inside. Sorry?
If he can get that perfect exit, which I think he has, and he is gaining, he's going to have that DRS opportunity over his teammate. His teammate's not going to use DRS at the moment, as that's a pretty easy move, but Tano's going to have DRS, I believe, into turn 3 now, as Not So Vapor goes around the outside. Tano gets DRS, but Electric Envy's going to look for it as Tano dives around the outside, gets the position back from his teammate as Post Striker also picks up a place from Electric Envy.
Yeah, it looks like a good move.
And now Zayek's going for it, and he's made that position. Dived it down the inside and made it work in turn 8.
Yeah, a lot of action going on in the top 5 here. Zayek moving himself up into P4, and Electric Envy obviously losing 2 positions off of that. I'm sure he's not going to be too happy with himself. And Tano doing a bit of a Charles Leclerc there, letting Not So Vapor through at turn 1, and then using the DRS going down into turn 4. He's able to maintain the lead. Pro Striker now getting all over the back of Not So Vapor. He does not have the best exit coming out of there, but maybe I was wrong about that, because he does start to pull away just a little bit. Pro Striker trying to fake it down the inside, but not going to commit to that move. Now, what kind of exit can he get coming out of this turn? And obviously Not So Vapor has the DRS, so he won't be able, or he will be able to defend quite nicely from Pro Striker. Pro Striker trying to pressure him into the move on his teammate. Pro Striker has a look around the outside, but he's not far enough alongside to make that move work. Now on the run down into turn 4. Can anyone look for a move into here? And looks like everyone's just going to slot in line, as you can see these drivers just pushing each other through the corners and really close together, as Pro Striker hits into the back of Not So Vapor, and he's really hitting him here.
Round again. Oh.
And it looks like Not So Vapor has been crashed out by IRS Pro Striker. He's just being a bit too racy and bumping into the back of him too many times. Not So Vapor is not going to be happy with that one, and I'm sure the stewards are going to have a look into that, and Pro Striker could be looking at a post-race penalty, which would drop him down quite a few positions. SL Mango, who went from all the way from the back of the grid, currently on the medium compound of tyres, and has now caught up to this DRS train of the top 4. As Pro Striker is getting very close to the back of Tano and could be looking for a move anytime soon. And as you can see here, he's just pushing Tano through the corners, and hopefully that doesn't cause a spin. As looks like a yellow flag there in the background. It looks like Ace Senna has made another mistake, and that's cost him once again a lot of time. And
Tano's
really
pitted, and Zayek and Tano have pitted, and so is Danny Stiller to the mediums, I believe, for all of them. So we'll have to wait and see where they come out for this race. There's yellow flags in sector 1. Who's that for? As Pro Strikers had spun it as well.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of
He's
drivers
got no
making
wing down.
mistakes.
He's got no wing. Or is that Luke? No.
No, it looks like both of them have front wings intact, if I'm not mistaken. And Pro Striker has lost quite a bit of time, though, because of that spin. And that's put him down into P3 in 5.4 seconds off of the top two. Obviously, Tano just came into pit lane and has come out 2.4 seconds behind Worry Cloud. And is going to be looking to push quite hard. But Tano could be on the two-stop here because he's coming quite early. For the medium compound of tyres, usually you'd want to box around lap 11 for the mediums, possibly even lap 12. But it looks like Tano might be going for the two-stop here. So he's going to lose, obviously, that 24 seconds from the pit lane. But he might be able to gain it all back with his fresh tyres. We'll have to see, as Electric Envy and SL Mango currently battling it out for the lead, and it looks like Mango, with the power of the DRS, is going to be able to move himself all the way up into P1 and gets that move done before the braking zone going into turn 1. I think the mediums have definitely started to get a little bit faster than the softs at this stage, as Haddock and also Lexus Beast come into the pit lane for some fresh medium tyres. And it actually looks like Lexus Beast comes onto the soft tyres. So yeah, it looks like a lot of drivers opting for the two-stop in this Grand Prix, as it looks like Senna. Yeah, Senna has retired, and that's brought out the virtual safety car.
Oh no, safety car, it's going to safety car. Wow, okay. So Mango's benefited, but everybody else who just pitted may want to have that safety car not at the right time.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to hurt a lot of people's races, and I think what happened there is Senna got up on the curb on the previous right-hander, and that's what's caused him to spin and DNF from the session. Definitely not the result that he wanted from today, as like I said before, Red Bull trying to fight for that championship. But it's going to be interesting to see what Mango does now, because he's on the medium, so he either has to use the hards or the softs, or is he going to box it all? This is really going to help Electric Envy, Pro Striker, and Derry, who all are still on the softs and yet to box for mediums. And
could well go on the mediums though. He'll have a set of mediums ready for him. Just really use them. I think he is opting for the mediums. No, the softs. He's going for a aggressive first stop.
Yeah, and I think what's happening there is that Mango obviously doesn't want to go onto the hard tyres until the end of the Grand Prix. They're just a bit too slow, so he's opted for the soft tyres, and then I assume he'll go for mediums for his final stint of the race. And he actually manages to come out in P1, with Tano now in P3 behind Mango and on the slower compounded tyres, while still being on the same strategy. It's not looking good for Tano, as Mango with that safety car has really helped him out, and Tano in the chat said just there a bit of team play, as it looks like Husky has disqualified himself from the session. He was a lap down, and
he's
tried
to overtake the safety car, but I don't know why this game won't allow you to do it. Just not allowed to unlap yourself apparently, but
yeah, it's really not very realistic, as a lot of the lap drivers, once the safety car comes out, their race is basically over. So Husky is now out of the session, along with Senna. But now Mango in the lead of the Grand Prix because of his teammate crashing out. So that's obviously going to lose them points, but it could help Mango in the Drivers' Championship. And I got a bit of a funny message there from Tano, who said some great team play from Red Bull.
and Zayek, I think there's a Zayek as well. Tano, you stupid idiot, I was copying your strategy.
So Zayek's lost quite a bit of time as well, because he obviously doesn't know the strategy as well as Tano, but has cost him quite a few positions because of that. But Yeah, Mango
I
now
think
in the
he's
lead.
gained a position though on pro striker. So, and not Sir Vapor, but that was from that spin earlier on anyway. But this could get interesting now.
Yeah, and a lot of drivers opting for a lot of different strategies. Obviously, Not So Vapor sadly down in P12 after being almost taken out by Pro Striker, who was getting a bit too racy in the middle sector. He's now down in P12. We have Alexis Beast, Worried Cloud, and Mango all on the softs. They're going to have to do one more stop to go on to the mediums until the end of the Grand Prix. We have Luke to Red on the hard compounded tyres, and he's going to be trying to go to the end of the race, and then everyone else is on the mediums, and I assume they're going to have to make one more stop in this race unless they really stretch the medium compounded tyres. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with this strategy. So a quick little rundown of the grid. Mango P1, Electric Envy P2, after that safety car really helping him out. Tano in P3, Zayek in P4, Danny Stiller is making himself up into P5, Iris Pro Striker after spin falls down to P6, Luke to Red on the hard tires gets himself up into P7, Haddock in P8 on the mediums, Alexis Beast and Worry Cloud are in P9 and P10 on the softs, Dairy in P11 and Not So Vapor in P12, both on mediums. And then Fabregas is currently on worn mediums. He decided not to box under safety car, and I think he was worried about getting lapped, and that's why he stayed out. But how do you see the race playing out on this safety car restart after this bit of a shuffle up of the grid?
Well, it's. I mean, it's gonna go more Mango's way, as he's on the softs, and the softs are the quicker tyre. But Luke on the hards as well. He's gonna want to go very long, not want to pit again unless there's a late safety car, very late. That would really help. But the soft a safety car is coming in this lap as well. But we've got two other soft drivers. They should be doing great.
Yeah, I think we can definitely see a lot of moves coming from them, as they're going to have a big advantage over all the medium runners. Looks like Mango is trying to get underway as soon as possible, as the safety car has only just come into pit lane. He's trying to get himself underway, and it's really caught out a lot of drivers, especially Electric Envy, who's now being overtaken by Tano coming into turn 1, and Zayek trying to get in the battle. Iris Pro Striker also in the background looking for a move on Zayek into turn 1 as Tano goes down the inside of Electric Envy into turn 1. Tano up into P2, Zayek maintaining P4. Electric Envy still close to the back of Tano. Looks like a spin there for one of the Haas cars. That's Zayek in the wall as Tano and Electric Envy still going side by side into turn 4. Tano maintaining P2 in this Grand Prix, but Zayek has spun the car, and looks like a massive fight for P6 here. Luke to Red getting the better of a lot of people. Alexis Beast has spun at turn 6 along with the Alpine of Vacant Haddock, both of them going off of the track, and Alexis Beast.
Another
big spin there.
Track as well for Alexis. That's probably most likely going to get himself a penalty, post-race penalty, as he's trying to go down the inside of Zayek, but it just didn't work there. As he's going to is he going to look for the next move? Next corner? No. Just not enough room there for him. As Zayek pushes himself up into 10th. Alexis as well.
Yeah, so as it looks like Alexis Beast and Zayek going side by side, a bit of contact. And Alexis Beast maintaining P11 for now. Not So Vapor has had a pretty good restart, moving himself up into P6. Worried Cloud now looking for the move on his teammate, and possibly Not So Vapor too, coming into turn 1. And he has the soft compounded tyres and probably the most grip. So can he hold this one around the outside into turn 1? Not So Vapor making contact with him and is able to hold that inside line. Luke to Red trying to take advantage of his teammate, and coming into turn 4, it doesn't look like anyone's going to be making any more moves, and it looks like Mango has already started to pull away from Tano is now 3 seconds ahead with those soft compound tires. He's able to go a lot faster. Big lockup into turn 8 from Mango. Tano is now leading the DRS train all the way down to P4 with Danny Stillers trying to catch up to his DRS train, but the DRS has not yet been enabled, but it will be enabled on lap 13, which is what a lot of the drivers in the background will be waiting for. Electric Envy gets a decent exit out of that previous turn and gets quite close to the back of Tano, but without the power of the DRS, he's not able to get close enough for a move going into that last left-hander. And Pro Striker also in the background trying to compete for a podium in this Grand Prix. Not So Vapor has had a great restart all the way from P12 up into P6. One man who's not had the best restart is Zayak, falling all the way down to P10, and is now trying to recover any kind of points he can, as he's now caught up to the DRS of Derry, who seems to be disconnected from the session. Mango, this is a 28.2 on those soft compound tires, going very fast at this stage of the Grand Prix. The DRS has now been enabled, and the drivers will be free to use it on the run down into turn 4. And one of the drivers who'll be taking advantage of that is Not Sir Vapor, currently on the back of Danny Stillers, and has the DRS open now, but cannot get close enough. He's quite a bit behind Danny Stillers, and he'll be using the DRS to catch up and hopefully make a move. Zayak getting past the ghost car of Derry, with Alexis Beast following Zayak quite closely, going through that previous turn 4. And as you can see now, Not So Vapor very close to the back of Danny Stillers. He's done a great job to get all the way past a lot of drivers, and obviously a couple of mistakes were made on the safety car restart, but still getting up into P6 and now looking for P5, using all of his ERS down this entire straight. Maybe a bit of a waste, as you cannot really make a move into that left-hander, but he's going to have the DRS for these next few turns. But Pro Striker currently in P4. How do you think this strategy is going to play out for Mango and Tano? Because obviously Tano will be on the softs at the end of the Grand Prix, but Mango is going to have to use those mediums, so Tano is going to have a big pace advantage.
I think, at the moment, the softs, 6 seconds in about 4 laps, is it? Is it safety car? If, as Tano gets passed by Electric Envy, and as he goes very wide and loses 2 positions there. Not what he would have wanted, but yeah, I feel like softs against Mango may not be very nice to him, as they are being very nice to him right now, but not to Tano.
Yeah, I think once they make their stops, Tano's obviously going to have a lot more pace, but he's currently battling away with the other drivers. Danny Stillers has lost quite a few positions, as he's now getting overtaken by Worried Cloud, who has the soft compound tires, as it looks like Fabregas comes into pit lane to retire from the session. Danny Stillers giving Worried Cloud the big squeeze. Electric Envy moves himself up into P2, but at the cost of a 3-second time penalty. Tano obviously went wide at turn 1 and lost 2 positions in just 1 turn. He falls down to P4, and his teammate catching up to him now and could be in the battle for this top 4 position. Worried Cloud makes the overtake on Danny Stillers, moves himself up into P6 and still has some good pace in those soft compound tires. Mango currently just pulling away from everyone, has some really great pace, and with the top 4 all battling away, it's really not helping them out.
8 seconds. 8 seconds in about 5 laps, that's madness, but
yeah, and then we now see Pro Striker.
DRS. Well, and Pro Strikers.
Yeah, Pro Striker's just made the move on a Electric Envy there, moves himself up into P2, and Electric Envy is going to try to fight back. Iris Pro Striker's red light is now flashing, and Electric Envy with the outside line gets squeezed by Iris Pro Striker there, and that's lost them both time, but it's mainly her Iris Pro Striker who's DNF'd from the session. And it looks like Electric Envy might have wing damage. There's a safety car now, and it looks like some dodgy driving today from IRS Pro Striker, it must be said.
Tano moved up 2 positions from that. And Not So Vapor who also threaded the needle between Electric Envy and Pro Striker, which was very nice to see from him. But now he's back up in play against the Red Bull. What
Yeah,
will
I think that's
Mercedes do against them?
it's going to be interesting to see, as this is definitely a 2021 style championship with Mercedes and Red Bull at the top, but also Williams, as you can see, in P4 Worried Cloud on the soft tyres. Now it's going to be interesting to see whether or not this benefits Mango. Mango is going to come into pit lane for the medium compound of tyres, which he will take to the end of the Grand Prix. Tano is going to do the exact same, and they're now going to be on even playing field.
Set.
Sorry?
Also, speaking about the 2021 championship, I kind of don't want to remember it, but it's looking very good.
Yeah, and as you can see there, both the Mercedes double
just been held
stacking.
up
Yeah, that's going to
as
lose
he
him
goes onto
a
the
couple of
softs.
seconds. Oh, and that's an interesting strategy call there from Not Sir Vapor, going onto these soft tyres.
I think.
And you're dead right with Electric
Envy has also gone onto the softs. So what can they do from the back of the grid? And
looks like Zayek gets a 5-second penalty there for a severe collision with Luke 2 Red, who's decided not to box.
He's not got a front wing.
Oh, and
Zayek
it looks like,
does not
yeah,
have a front wing.
they've made contact on the under safety car, and wow, that's massively helped out Manko, because sadly we missed that. Luke 2 Red obviously stayed out because he was on the hard tires, although I think boxing for the mediums would have benefited him. Zayek decided to stay on the mediums, which is definitely an interesting strategy, but obviously he now has to box for a new front wing. And after Luke 2 Red and Zayek collided with each other, which I'm not too sure how that would have happened under safety car, this has now meant Mango is in the lead of the Grand Prix, and Tano is going to have two cars between them, but once Zaya comes into pit lane, it's just going to be Luke 2 Red between Mango and Tano. Worried Cloud up in P5, but that 3-second time penalty is really going to hurt him in this race, and it's also really going to hurt Electric Envy, who also has one. And a quick strategy look at all the drivers. Mango obviously going on to the mediums like most people, which they'll all take to the end of the Grand Prix. Luke 2 Red decided to stay out on hard tires, opted for track position over the fresher tires, and it obviously hasn't worked out for him because he made that collision with Zayek, and I think he got himself a 5-second time penalty. And actually, no, it doesn't look like it. He's got 6 seconds of time penalties for extending the track limits. Zayek is now coming into pit lane for a fresh front wing, as it looks like Luke 2 Red also comes into pit lane.
Okay.
So, and he gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which is absolutely devastating for him. But looks like Zayek and Luke 2 Red are going to be at the back of the grid now. And let's see what tires they go for.
Mediums. Yes, he has opted for the mediums. Zayek can't tell what he's going for, as camera won't change from anything else. But it looks like it's the hard according to the time thing. It is the hards.
Like hard tires for Zayek, so it looks like he's obviously maybe not got enough fresh mediums, so he's gone for the hard tires instead. So he's not going to have a lot of pace, but at least he'll be able to comfortably make it to the end of the Grand Prix. So now Mango and Tano in first and second place. Not to Vapor, after having to double stack in the pit lane, falls down to P5 and has opted for the fresh softs. So I think the softs can make it to the end of the Grand Prix. It's going to be a bit of a stretch, and they're definitely going to be very, very worn. But this strategy could work out for people like Not So Vapor, Electric Envy, and also Derry. So we'll have to see if it does work out for them. Danny Stillers all the way up into P4 and a net P3 because Worried Cloud has that 3-second time penalty. Could Stillers be looking at his first podium of the season? I'm sure he'd be very happy with a result like that.
We get information from Zayek as well, saying he screwed his mediums in quali, which isn't the best idea, but that safety car also comes in this lap.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at Tano here, and yeah, I'm not
Oh,
mistaken. It looks like he's disconnected from the session at just the wrong
oh,
time. And it looks like this has really helped out Mango because everyone's going to pass him unless he can join back quickly. So Mango will be looking to get underway as quickly as possible to take advantage of this situation. So let's see when he's going to go for this safety car restart. Can he catch anyone out? It looks like Tano's AI has decided to come into the pit lane. So his AI has decided to box for him. That's now going to put him 20 seconds behind absolutely everyone. There's
oh,
absolutely carnage into turn one. They go 4 wide, still 3 wide. Looks like a mistake there from Electric Envy, having a bit of a wobble on the back end. Not so Vapor moves up into P3. And it looks like it wasn't actually carnage. Most people getting away, but not Zayek,
oh.
who crashes out on the run down into turn 4. I think it might have been 3 wide, and he might have got squeezed into the wall, and that's caused him to retire from the session. Zayek, who qualified so well, and like most races, sadly can't convert it to a good result. Not so Vapor now up into the podium positions. Worried Cloud MP2, and Tano's AI put him into the pit lane, and this is really going to hurt Tano in the championship unless he can join back quickly. Danny Stillers in P4. Electric Envy looking for a move. Derry retiring from the session. Electric Envy down the inside of Danny Stillers into the left-hander. Electric Envy cuts the corner slightly, and that's going to give him another 3-second time penalty. He's now up to 6 seconds, so I don't think Danny Stillers is going to fight that too hard because he knows he's going to still be on the podium since the 2 cars ahead of him have 3-second time penalties at least, with Electric Envy obviously having 6 seconds, and that's really hurt him in this race so far. Alexis Beast in P7, getting close to the back of Haddock, who's on hard compound tyres, and could be looking for a move into turn 1 using quite a bit of his ERS, and it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do with the grip of the mediums. He's going to have the inside line for turn 1, really squeezes Haddock there on the outside line. Haddock tries to hold it around the outside, but Alexis Beast has so much more grip, and he's able to get himself up into P6, but Haddock isn't going to go down without a fight. He goes down the inside into turn 4, and he just does not have enough grip to brake late enough to actually get that move done. So Alexis Beast gets himself up into P6, with Not So Vapor currently in P4.
There. Contact with Haddock and Beast, but he keeps it together to not spin. As
And someone who did spin was Luke Tourette in the background there.
As soon as I say someone spins, apparently.
So Luke Tourette has a little spin there, and that's lost him 7.2 seconds to Haddock.
Electric Envy's going to look for the move, but just backs out of it then. Turn 11 up, 12, 13. He's going to look again. 13? Nice. Going to bring about the main straight, I think.
Yeah, and I think DRS will be enabled on the next lap, if I'm not mistaken. And Worried Cloud currently in P2, he's on those mediums, and he has himself a time penalty, which is going to put him behind Not So Vapor, and the DRS is now enabled. And Not So Vapor, with the power of the soft tires, is looking for a move into turn 1, but Worried Cloud...
He wants that DRS.
Yeah, it didn't look like DRS was enabled for that main pit straight, but it will be enabled for turn 4. Not So Vapor really squeezing Worried Cloud there, almost spun Not So Vapor. It looks like a yellow flag in the background. Alexis Beast has a spin there. I think he made contact with Vacant Haddock. That's dropped him down to P7. Electric Envy in P3 trying to look for the move on Not So Vapor, as it looks like Worried Cloud dropped down 2 positions in just 3 turns, and obviously these 2 soft runners are going to be a lot faster at this stage, but they're going to lose quite a bit of time coming towards the end of the race. Mango is definitely worth mentioning, 4.2 seconds ahead of Not So Vapor, and doing very well in this Grand Prix, and he's going to gain maximum points over his championship rival, currently down in P9, 15.8 seconds behind the closest driver of Loop 2 Red. And
Andy's still not rejoined, so that's really going to hurt him. Because
yeah.
I believe if he can rejoin, he might be able to gain a few more points. But let's wait and see what happens.
And the funniest thing is, Tano's AI, he was on the fresh mediums. Tano's AI came into pit lane and boxed for 10 lap old mediums. So interesting strategy call from the AI
AI
there.
do very stupid things.
It
But
seems so, as Electric Envy, with the power of the DRS that is now enabled for the pit straight, is able to make an easy move on Not to Vapor coming into turn 1, moves himself up into P2, but with 6 seconds of time penalties, is going to drop him back to P3. Electus Beast trying to make the move on Vacant, and it looks like he's going to be able to make that move coming into turn 1 with the superior grip of the mediums. A nice and easy move for Alexis Beast there, as the battle
Electric
for
Envy as well is just past the Not So Vapor. Don't know where that happened, but
I
it
think
was
that
on
was
the
at
second
turn 1.
straight. Turn 1.
Yeah,
But
so Electric
it's
Envy
now the
and
fight for Mango. If Mango can keep those mediums, very nice. He should easily win it, I believe.
and I definitely have to agree with you there. 4.7 seconds is the gap, and Electric Envy also having 6 seconds of time penalties. That's going to drop him back all the way to P5, if I'm not mistaken. As it looks like Not to Vapor
Oh,
gets himself that 3-second time penalty. A small mistake there at turn
not
13.
what he would have wanted, but he's still got that 3-second buffer. So if he doesn't make any more mistakes, it should be good. For
Yeah,
P2.
and as long as Worried Cloud doesn't catch up, and Worried Cloud is on the medium, so shouldn't be a major threat to Not So Vapor, as it looks like Electric Envy's red light is now flashing. Not So Vapor has a look down the inside, a bit of an optimistic move, wasn't alongside that entire straight, not even in the braking zone, but manages to make contact with Electric Envy's rear wheel, now using his ERS and the DRS to go around the outside into turn 4. Electric Envy tries to hold this position, and it looks like Not So Vapor is going to have to back out of that move coming into turn 6, following very closely behind though, and he looks to go to the outside and then tries to switch it to the inside, but ends up making contact with the back of Electric Envy, and some poor decision making, and just wasn't able to make it within that split second that he needed to make it, and that has cost him, I think, his front wing and a lot of positions. So it looks like Mercedes might be finishing at the very back of the grid in P9 and P8, as we've had a lot of retirements. Husky, Asena, Fabregas, Pro Striker, Zayek, Derry, and technically Tano, who won't get points unless he's able to rejoin.
Tano's AI has just pitted him again as well,
Yeah.
so maybe even more trouble for the Mercedes, as Not So Vapor may have to pit because of that contact as he hit Electric and the wall. So let's see if he does need to pit or won't. Yeah, he's pitting. So he's not going to love this, but
yeah, this is definitely not the best for him, and just a bit of indecision, or an indecisive moment for Not So Vapor. Was struggling to think of which one to go with, the outside or the inside line. You definitely want the inside line for turn 8, but he just made that decision a bit too late, and that's cost him an easy P2, you'd have to say, in this race. But Danny Stillers, who is been quietly consistent this season, hasn't really been up on the podium, and not even in the top 5, if I remember correctly. I don't know, I just haven't really noticed him in these races, but he's P4 in the championship. I think he's 3 points behind Not So Vapor, and he's about to get P2 in this Grand Prix. Danny Stillers could be looking at P3 in the Drivers' Championship at the end of the season, and Not So Vapor and Danny Stillers will be battling it out in that championship, just like Mango and Tano. But if Tano doesn't rejoin, he won't be getting any points, so Mango is going to gain 25 points on Tano, just like he did in America. So Mango is making some massive gains in the championship recently, and as we reach the halfway point of the season, Tano losing a bit of his buffer in the championship. And it looks like Electric Envy, with those soft tires, if he can pull out a 1 second gap on Danny Stillers behind him, he might be able to secure P2 in this race. So Danny Stillers needs to keep up the pace, but obviously towards the end of the race, Electric Emmy's tyres will start to die off. And Worried Cloud also in the background trying to overtake Danny Stewart. He looks to the outside for turn 4, backs out of that move. Thinks of the switchback.
He's lost it.
And yeah, that switchback move obviously went for that different line, tried to get the best exit, and that's caused him to
lost
spin.
2 places. That's that spin he's had now. As he tried to get on the power really early, but just wouldn't work. And just caused the rear end to just fire up and not want to work.
And it looks like a lot of drivers really struggling at turn 4, as it's definitely a very tricky traction zone.
As that's also happened, Electric's also got that 6-second buffer that he needs to Danny Stiller. So, can Danny bring it back, or?
And it's definitely going to be interesting to see, because obviously Electric Envy is only on 7 lap softs, which is usually when they start to drop off. So we might see Danny Stiller start to get a bit faster compared to Electric Envy, and we still have 4 laps to go, 5 laps to go even in this race. So plenty of time for those soft tyres to die off and Danny Stiller to catch within that 6-second gap. He's only 5/10 off currently. And if we have a quick look at the penalties, which is going to decide a lot of the positions in this race, a lot of drivers struggling with track limits, getting themselves 3-second time penalties. And Mango, as I say that, gets himself a 3-second penalty, but hopefully
he's got that buffer
matter.
though, so
yeah, he really has. 7.3 seconds, really dominating performance so far from Mango.
From last place as well. That's a great comeback, I will not lie.
Yeah, I mean, even with that quality ban, he's done a lot of damage limitation, and probably to its best. He's currently got fastest lap, if I'm not mistaken. He has, so he's going to get a max 26 points compared to Tano, who's going to get a minimum 0 points, because unless you finish the race, if your AI finishes the race for you, you end up scoring no points in the championship. So even though Tano's in P9, he'll end up getting no points since he's not been able to rejoin the session, which is definitely a shame that he was disconnected on the safety car restart, as that would have been a great battle for the lead. But obviously internet issues are things you just cannot avoid sometimes. So it looks like currently Danny Stewart has fallen down to a 7.3 second gap to Electric Envy ahead. And it looks like Vacant in the DRS of Alexis Beast, his hard tyres are going to start to get better towards the end of the Grand Prix, but right now not doing him justice in this race. And what have you thought of the race so far? I mean, there's been so much action.
There's been a lot of action, as Haddock is going for the over down the inside of turn 4. It looks like Alexis is going to just squeeze him in and keep that position, as Haddock spun it, I think, as the VSC is now out for some reason.
Yeah, I think what happened there was Vacant tried to get the better exit out of turn 4, ended up spinning the car, and has now lost his entire front wing, which has caused the virtual safety car to come out, which is actually going to help out Electric Envy, since it's going to save him a bit of tyre wear, which will then help him out against his little fight between Danny Stillers to keep him out of that 6-second gap. But it's all going to be about who can get the best VSC restart.
I just saw Vapor slow right down, was basically stopped on track. I believe that is to get the delta time up massively and then regain that gap. So I'll have to see what he's done here, as I have a feeling, as VSC is now just ended, Haddock is going to have to pit for a front wing change and tyres. So Not So Vapor will move up 1 position, which you'll be happy about, I guess.
Yeah, at least gaining some kind of points in this race. And with only technically 8 finishers in this race, but there's been a lot of DNFs and a bit of carnage in this race. As we now enter lap 27, we've only got 3 laps to go in this race. Not So Vapor moving up into P7. And it looks like Danny Stills is now 2.7 seconds off of P2 in this race. Since Electric Envy with those soft tires has really been able to pull away, and quite nicely too. But we now see Worried Cloud is going to be battling it out with Alexis Beast for P4 in this race, which is still going to be some great points. And I think Worried Cloud is actually in a fairly decent position in the championship. He's currently got 22 points to his name, and if he could get P4 in this race, I'm sure he'd be very happy to add another 12. But let's see if he's able to do just that. He's following quite nicely behind Alexis Beast here. But as you can see, the gap was 8.7 seconds to Electric Envy and Danny Stillers, but it's now down to 8.4. The mediums are well and truly faster at this stage of the Grand Prix as we now enter the penultimate lap of the race. SL Mango with a 9.1 second gap. What do you think of the performance from Mango so far?
Driver of the day, no matter what anyone says. Like, he's been amazing all race. He's dominated from first safety car before he even had the first safety car. As soon as he passed Electric Envy, he was in control. And
I mean, I'd have to fully agree.
He's showing his pace, even though not doing quality. He's showing his pace. He's been very controlled, very calm, and just pulled away easily, as it's now gone up to 10 seconds. As Danny is also bringing it down, so
it's going to be an interesting contest to the line. But yeah, I'd have to completely agree with what you said about Mango. Ever since he got into the lead after having that good strategy starting on the mediums with his quali ban, he started all the way down in P15 and is looking to get up all the way into P1 and gain 26 points over his championship rival, which I'm sure he'd be extremely happy with, just like he did last round. Gained so many points on Tano, who got a puncture at the end of the race, which I didn't know until after the race. So that's why Mango was so much faster at the time. And Danny Stillers now has one final lap to try and catch 2 seconds to Electric MB ahead, who's going to have very worn soft tires. But are they going to be 2 seconds slower? We'll have to see. Worried Cloud on the back of Alexis Beast. He also has one final lap to get P4 in this Grand Prix. Both of them have under 10% ERS. Worried Cloud using all of his ERS that he can on the run down into turn 4. Both of these drivers have absolutely nothing left in the tank, but they're still giving it their absolute all. Danny Stiller's gap currently 8.1 seconds. You can see how much faster Mango is currently going to Electric Envy. He's gained about 2 seconds in one lap there, and you can really tell Electric Envy's tires have fallen off the cliff. Worried Cloud coming into this left-hander now, and has the DRS on Alexis Beast. Not the best exit though. That's going to lose him a little bit of time. It looks like Alexis Beast could be looking at P4 in this race. Danny Steers has got the gap down to 7.9 seconds, but I don't think he's going to be getting P2 in this race.
As Mango comes across the line and wins the Bahrain Grand Prix with such a commanding race, with Electric Envy in second place, who I think is going to keep that second place over Danny Stella, as he crossed the line 1.9 seconds off. Just couldn't get it, as Alexis and Worried come across the line now. Worried could have got him, but he just didn't have that pace, as Luke crosses the line in 6th position. And not Sir Vapor, not going to like this race at all. Not going to want to think back or look back to today.
Yeah, definitely a lot of mistakes from Not Sir Vapor. He's going to finish down in P7, vacant in P8, and Tano, who isn't going to score any points this round. But a dominating performance from Mango, who comes across the line to win the Bahrain Grand Prix and gain a lot of points in this championship. He grows from 60 points all the way up to 85 points. Now just 15 points off of Tano in the Drivers' Championship. and is really heating up in the championship with just 6 rounds to go in this LSR Group 2 championship. Tano is going to have to give it his absolute all, and losing a lot of points due to no fault of his own. But Mango is going to be absolutely ecstatic with that result. Electric Envy finishing P2, a great result for him. And Danny Stillers getting his first podium of the season for AlphaTauri, and it's been a very fun race to watch and an interesting one. Sadly, so many DNFs, but out of the drivers who finished, they have been rewarded heavily. Alexis Beast comes across P4. Worried Cloud finishes P5. Luke 2 Red is able to finish P6. Not Sir Vapor comes home in P7, gets himself 6 points, but could have been so much more. Could have been P2 if he had kept it clean up against Electric MV. Haddock is able to finish P8, and Tano finishes P9, but he won't be scoring any points as he obviously disconnected from the session. And an absolutely amazing race to watch. And what did you think of your first experience with Group 2?
That was really fun. That was all over. Just everywhere you look, there was a battle going on, which is very nice to see and very, very, very good. And well done to Mango as he's put in the chat. He's very excited about that win, and I think I would be too.
Yeah, and even after the race, it's only been about 30 seconds since the race finished, and we already have reports coming in, and Zayek is trying to report Mango. We'll have to see if that gets him a penalty, but who knows at this stage. We'll be sure to update you on any post-race penalties in 2 weeks' time, which will be the next Grand Prix at Hungary, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but yeah, that was an absolutely amazing race, and I hope to see you
It
all
is
for the
Saudi
next round.
Arabia.
Yeah, so
Saudi
Saudi
Arabia
Arabia is the
is
next round, and that's going to be an exciting one for sure. But I think we're going to end it off here. I hope you did all enjoy this race, and I hope to see you in 2 weeks' time for the next round at Saudi Arabia. Or I think it might have been Hungary, as I think they might have made a mistake on the counter. Not too sure, but I hope to see you there nonetheless. Group 1 is tomorrow at 9:30 BST time, which is also known as British time. Be sure to watch that stream, as obviously I'll be racing in there, and it will definitely be one to watch. And if Group 2 has shown us anything here at Bahrain, I'm sure Group 1 will be just as good. So thank you everyone for watching, and obviously this stream was on the LSR channel, but all of our other streams will be on the LGE channel, so go be sure to go subscribe to that channel so that you don't miss out on any F1 streams. But that's going to be it from us, and goodbye.